Can you imagine someone committing armed robberies becoming one of the greatest heavyweights in the history of boxing? Charles Liston, better known by his ring name Sonny Liston, ran away from his abusive father at a young age and turned to a life of crime to survive. Who would have known that this young man with a criminal past would go on to attain an incredible record of winning 39 matches out of 50 by knockouts? Stay until the end to learn the incredible story of a prisoner-turned-heavyweight champion of the world and the life-changing fight with Muhammad Ali, the beginning of the Big Bear. Sonny was the son of Toby Liston and Helen Baskin. The couple together had 12 kids, out of which Sonny was the second youngest child. There is not any official record of Sonny's birth, because back then, birth certificates were not made mandatory until 1965. At the age of 17, he finally started his boxing career, and in 1934 and at the age of 45, he became the undefeated world champion. From Charles Liston to Sonny Liston. Toby Liston was harsh with his son. In an interview, Sonny said, "The only thing I got from my old man was beating. He was so brutally whipped by his old man." But even after decades, some of his scars were visible. Sonny's mother, Helen Baskin, later moved with some of his children to St. Louis. Later, Sonny moved there as well. He tried attending school but left when people used to make fun of his illiteracy. The only employment Sonny could get was getting into that squared circle and taking the giants out. But there is more to it. Before getting into boxing, Sonny Liston got into crimes and gangs of thugs. With them, Liston used to get into fights and commit armed robberies. This is where he was known by the name of Yellow Shirt Bandit, because of the shirt he used to wear. For his robberies, the law enforcement officers caught him at 22, but Liston gave his age as 20. The St. Louis Globe-Democrat reported that he was convicted and sentenced to 5 years. That was the first time he got into prison. The Big Bear never actually complained about prison. 3 meals daily were guaranteed to him, and that was all he needed. The athletic director at Missouri State Penitentiary, Aloy Stevens, advised Sonny to get into boxing. He saw something in Sonny and added him to early parole. Stevens arranged a sparring session between Sonny and Turam Wilson, a professional boxer. And for sure, it would have been a test for Charles Liston to face a professional for the first time. But Charles went wild. And Wilson was like, "Better get me out of this ring," and "He is going to kill me." After getting released from prison, he had a proper amateur career for less than a year. Liston had some great accomplishments during that time. He won the Chicago Golden Gloves, a victory of Olympic heavyweight champion, and became the winner of the New York Golden Gloves Tournament of Champions. He was representing Chicago in the Intercity Golden Gloves Championship, where he got knocked down for the first time, but his will to survive gave him the control back in the next 2 rounds and victory in the end. After winning various titles, it was pretty clear that he was going to be someone special one day. When Charles won a bronze medal in the European Championships, the head coach of the St. Louis Golden Gloves team, Tony Anderson, said that Liston was the strongest fighter he had ever seen. Liston made his professional boxing debut on September 2nd, 1953, when he sparked Don Smith unconscious in the first round. This is where it was the beginning of a new superstar in the town who was better known by his ring name, Sonny Liston, the heavyweight boxing champion of the world, Sonny Liston. Till now, Sonny had a record of 18-1-2. Mort Charnick, known for his Sports Illustrated articles, wrote that his hands looked like cannonballs when he made them into fists. Sonny was known for his left jab and hook. His boxing stance was orthodox, and with that much muscularity, you could notice a big giant getting into the ring to deal with business. It was his 6th boxing bout, where he faced a ranked, well-known heavyweight boxer Johnny Summerlin. He had 2 bouts with him in his hometown of Detroit. Sonny won the first one by a decision. The war lasted for full 8 rounds, and in the next one, Sonny sparked him cold in the first round. His first loss was against Marty Marshall, who had an awkward style, which disturbed Sonny. But he bounced back and took his win in the second bout, knocking Marty down in the 6th round. Their third and final match was a war of 10 rounds. Liston came out of that victorious. After this amazing trilogy, Sonny got back behind the bars after beating a police officer. He got out after 6 months in jail and came back as if nothing happened. He went undefeated for 9 straight matches. After knocking out the contender Mike DeJohn in the 6th round, he won 5 straight matches, including the duology with Cleveland Williams. At this time, the Big Bear looked unstoppable. After dominating the heavyweight division for this long, it was time that Sonny put his fist on the champ's face. But there were some delays in the mega event. Since Sonny had some criminal acts, The world champion Floyd Patterson refused to fight him. Many politicians, public figures, and celebrities didn't want Floyd Patterson to fight Sonny, since he was arrested twice and suspended by the Pennsylvania Athletic Commission. His manager lost his license because of being associated with certain racketeers. The US President John F. Kennedy and NAACP both had urged Patterson not to fight Sonny Liston. After going through all that, Liston and his team reclaimed their licenses. Finally, the world champion, the gentleman of boxing, Floyd Patterson signed to fight Liston on September 25, 1962. Many ex-champions predicted that Floyd is going to take this one easily. Floyd was a package of versatility and was too fast for Sonny. This was being said by many greats of the boxing world. For them, Sonny was just a one-dimensional old-style classic boxer. But despite all odds, Sonny left the world champion out cold in a couple of minutes of the first round. The Sports Illustrated writer Gilbert Rogen describes it as, "That final left hook crashed into Patterson's cheek like a diesel rig going downhill with no brakes." It was the third fastest knockout in a world heavyweight title fight, and the first time the defending champion had been knocked out in round 1. That was a special moment in Sonny's career, for which he prepared a speech for the crowd that friends assured him would meet at the Philadelphia airport. Duology with Muhammad Ali or Cassius Clay, and the decline of the Big Bear. Sonny again knocked out Patterson in the first round and proved that nobody could touch him, until the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, came into the picture. In their first match, Liston felt something is wrong with his shoulder and refused to continue the battle after 6 rounds against Clay. In their second bout in Lewiston, Maine, Ali shocked the world by stepping back and catching the Big Bear with his right jab. Many sports analysts claim that the match was fixed and that Sonny went down on purpose so that the Mafia could earn profits. But also, many of them claim that Sonny was an old man at the time and Ali was in his prime. After that, Sonny fought a few fights and completed his career with a W under his belt. On January 5, 1971, Liston was found dead by his wife, Geraldine, in their home in Las Vegas. Many talented fighters come from rough and rugged backgrounds, but not all of them leave their mark forever. Sonny knew he had nothing but a pair of hands that could help him turn things around from his criminal past. Not only did he leave his mark on the sport of boxing, but he also inspired fighters like Mike Tyson, who found a lot of resemblance to him and his incredibly tough life. Being someone who was idolized and looked up to by a savage like Tyson is enough to explain the greatness of Sonny Liston. Do you think Sonny Liston is one of the greatest fighters of all time, given the fact that he had an incredibly tough background and how he paved the way to some of the meanest boxers in the world? Let us know your take on that below in the comment box. If you're enjoying our content and want to see more, be sure to leave a like before subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. And as always, thanks for watching, and until next time.